Welcome to Business Discovery. This is your host, Ernesto Del Bosque. Today we talk about Ticketmaster and who are their true customers. Think about that. Are you really their customer? Ticketmaster is hated by many people as well as artists. They have control over 7% of the market, so there's never near peer competitors to Ticketmaster. They also own Live Nation. So if you're part of Live Nation and think you're not part of Ticketmaster, then you're wrong. But is this the fault of Ticketmaster, or are they doing someone else's bidding? So what does Ticketmaster do? Well, they handle the booking services. So this is the buying of tickets, selling of tickets, issuing refunds, anything that has to do with the ticket, they have a hand in it. And if a venue uses Ticketmaster's ticketing services, they must sign an exclusivity contract. This means they have to use Ticketmaster for all their services if they use it for one. So now you can't use one concert, use Ticketmaster, another concert, use another company. No, you must use Ticketmaster. So Ticketmaster has a large share of these. So if you're like Taylor Swift or someone like that, and you're going to perform at these big venues, guess what? You have to use Ticketmaster because by default, most of the big places are with Ticketmaster. Another thing they do that most people don't know is the promotion. So they handle the getting the word out about the concerts that they operate at those venues. So they do multiple things, not just the ticketing services. Why does Ticketmaster charge so much? If I go out to buy a concert ticket, they're charging me an arm and a leg. Wouldn't you think you wouldn't want to make your customers that upset by charging them so much money? Well, again, as I alluded to earlier, you are not their main customer. So if you ask an artist why did tickets so much, they'll say it's Ticketmaster's fault. Ticketmaster will say no, it's the venue's fault. The venue will then say no, it's the individual artist's fault. Everyone's pointing fingers at each other. What is a fair price for these tickets? That's one thing that everyone's trying to say. These are overpriced. But if you ask any business what is the right price to charge for a product, they're going to say the price that people are willing to pay. As simple as that. If you're willing to pay it, they're going to sell it for that amount. There's actually people whose entire jobs are dedicated to figuring out what's the max amount people are willing to pay. So, for example, in Ticketmaster scenario, what is the max amount I can charge for each of these tickets and still fill up every single seat in this tour? That's their job. What is the max amount you want to pay? So if you see a concert ticket for a few $100s and you buy it, guess what? You just told Ticketmaster that, hey, I'm willing to pay that amount of money for that ticket. So next concert, next year, they're probably going to up it a little bit and see if you still buy. There's a point that you stop buying and enough of other people stop buying, they won't charge that amount of money. But the fact that Taylor Swift concerts sold for ridiculous amounts of money and still sold out, you're telling Ticketmaster I'm willing to pay at least that much money. Or at least enough of people are saying yes, they're willing to pay it because they still sold out. So for Ticketmaster's eyes, you'll say, hey, we either priced it perfectly or maybe we didn't charge enough because people are still buying it. Think about that for a moment. As seen what happened with Taylor Swift, at some point, these prices just make customers mad. So all these Taylor Swift fans are going to be upset about these high price tickets. It looks back on Taylor Swift, and that's when the finger pointing starts going, oh no, it's Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster knows the venue says no, it's Ticketmaster. And it's going round and round circle. So one way they try to get around this is Ticketmaster will hold so many tickets for the artist. And the artist could do whatever they want the tickets. They could do it as giveaway promotions for their customers or for their fans. They could give it to family. They could resell it themselves, whatever they want to do. Another option is to sell it at below market price or below the price that people are willing to pay. And you can see this in action because when this happens, scalpers come in. And what they do is say, hey, you're selling these tickets below what people are willing to pay. I know people are willing to charge more. So they buy those tickets and immediately resell them for a higher price. Could be double, triple, or even more of the original value. These scalpers can only do this because you are willing to pay for it. It's as simple as that. Because you paid for it, everyone gets to buy paying these scalpers for charging a higher price when Ticketmaster sold it for a lower price than they knew they could get for it, and scalpers bought it and resold it. And yes, Ticketmaster does own the resale part of it too, so they kind of double dip on initial sale and on the secondary market, should I say. The customers are still willing to pay for it. So the scalpers jump in, they charge extra money. Ticketmaster makes a double on that. But if you're not willing to pay that higher price, scalpers can't do that. Ticketmaster can't sell the prices so high. So people are actually feeding into this. You're telling Ticketmaster and the scalpers that you're willing to pay that extra price. The last thing to consider is ticketing used to be a cost to the venue. Just like electricity, venues used to pay for ticketing service. Well, Ticketmaster came in and said, we are going to do the ticketing for you. We're not going to charge you for ticketing services. You know what? We'll pay you. Let us take care of it. You don't worry about a thing. And guess what? I could guarantee you more money out of these sales as well. So when you tell a venue that, they're like, oh my gosh, you can make me even more money and not charge at the same time? It's a win-win. These venues were able and willing to sign these exclusivity contracts because they were able to be guaranteed more money and not pay this fee and actually make money off of Ticketmaster. So why would they sign with anybody else? This is how Ticketmaster grew so quickly and outshined their competition. So at the end of the day, Ticketmaster cares about what the venues think, not what the artists think, not what the individual ticket buyers think. Although it is somewhat important, but at the end of the day, the venues are the ones who sign those exclusivity contracts. In theory, yes, if enough people band together, enough artists say, no, we're not going to perform out that, it will take a few years for Ticketmaster even to feel truly the effects of that. As buyers of these tickets, you could say, no, we're not going to pay that collectively, but then you lose out on that ticket, this one in a lifetime event. That's what they count on. It's an emotional decision. That is Ticketmaster's true customer, the venues. I'm not saying Ticketmaster is completely, free from harm from this, but Ticketmaster is providing a service to these venues, and that is who they own their end-of-day loyalty to. Hope y'all could join me next time here on Benson Discovered. Y'all have a wonderful day.